Flames were searing through the roof of the building and fire crews on a hydraulic platform could do little to halt the spread.
We got everyone out, evacuated everyone properly like we should have done, and then stood on the other side of the road and it swept across the whole of the roof in no time at all.
More than 80 firefighters tackled the flames, just a few hundred yards from the site of the fire which gutted Norwich City Library last year.
Initially we had a problem with water supplies because of the time of the day and the amount of water that's being used in the city. It was very difficult to get sufficient water onto the fire very, very quickly, and also it has been a problem in as much as we've had roof collapse and upper structures collapse onto the personnel beneath.
Many paintings were saved, but the cost of repairs will run into hundreds of thousands. It means the loss of a building which attracted 250,000 visitors a year.
Centre landmark. Questions tonight over problems of getting enough water to tackle the flames. And relegation woes continue for Norwich City. A report coming up. First, fire has destroyed an historic Norwich building just months after the disastrous fire in the city's central library. Flames tore through the Assembly House within a matter of minutes this evening. There's concern among firefighters that initially water pressure from fire hydrants in the area was insufficient. From the scene, Anglia News reporter David Golly.
This is a scene of the Norwich Assembly House tonight, some 6 hours after it was devastated by fire. Firefighters are still damping down. They'll be here for the rest of the night. It was just before 5 o'clock that the fire broke out. The problems with the water supply all too apparent. By the time it was up and running, the flames had taken a hold and were tearing through the roof.
The water supplies from the hydrants were very, very poor, very low supplies. And in fact, the crews have had to go away from the site, the hydrants immediately available to the site, come across the car park here to pick up other hydrants in the city.
That has to be a concern, surely.
It is a concern, and obviously it's a concern that we want to express. That we have got to deal with these fires, we need water to deal with them, and we expect the water to be there.
As firefighters continue to arrive from all over the county, onlookers could only watch in stunned disbelief. Just months after the city library was burnt out, another of Norwich's historic buildings was being gutted by fire.
I heard all the noise and all the sirens and walked up and saw all the roof was on fire, the whole lot, all over the music room. It's a tragedy, isn't it?
We didn't know what the hell was happening, and we tried to get the customers out, and most of them wanted to stay and finish their cups of tea and things, so that was a bit of a hassle. And then got them all out, and as we looked up, just at the top there, we just saw a bit of smoke, and then suddenly it spread like woof.
Well, it's disbelief, quite honestly. It's such another amazing blow to Norwich, right here in the heart of the city. That's actually the finest Georgian building in the city. It's a James Ivory building. But like everybody else in Norwich, I've been there on so many occasions when they used to show the films there in the Norwich Cinema. And I was there when they recently reopened that as a wonderful conference suite.
Dating back to the 18th century, the Assembly House is regarded as one of Norwich's finest buildings, known by many as the one-time home of the Norwich Cinema, which closed in 1992. It was refitted and used as a concert and conference centre. Although firefighters managed to salvage some of the valuable artefacts, experts say it's another devastating blow to arts in the city.
The Assembly House was not only a place where there were exhibitions every day, but with that marvellous music room, an irreplaceable piece of treasure in itself. There were so many fine concerts. I was often involved in them myself. And when I arrived there and all this passed through my mind, frankly, I was almost in tears.
So tonight, as the damping down continues, Norwich is coming to terms with the loss of another landmark building. This one, though, will perhaps be a little more difficult to replace than the city library that stood just a few yards away. Investigations into exactly what happened here will start in the morning.
Devastated the historic Assembly House in Norwich city centre. Concerns have been voiced over the problems of getting water to fight the fire.
This is the scene of devastation this morning as Norwich comes to terms with the fire that robbed the city of an important piece of its heritage, just 8 months after the city's central library was burned down only yards away. A number of rooms in the 18th century building have been gutted, including the restaurant and music room. The cost of the damage is thought to run into hundreds of thousands of pounds. Last night, eyewitnesses said there'd been problems fighting the fire because of a lack of water.
It is a concern, and obviously it's a concern that we want to express. That we have got to deal with these fires, we need water to deal with them, and we expect the water to be there.
The fire started just before 5 last night. At its height, more than 100 firefighters tackled the flames. As an investigation into the cause of the fire gets underway this morning, the city is counting the cost of another devastating blow.
The Norwich Library fire was quite literally an